The station lights flickered low, humming softly with the rhythm of the artificial night. I lay awake in my bunk, staring at the dull metal ceiling of Orbital Outpost 9, a lonely frontier post hanging above the red storms of Jupiter. Most of the crew had gone into cryosleep until the next supply vessel arrived. Only a skeleton staff remained, of which I was one. The corridors were silent, save for the occasional groan of the station adjusting against Jupiter's pull. My quarters were small, barely enough for a bed, a desk, and a storage unit. I should have felt alone. But tonight I felt something different, like eyes watching me through the dark. I turned, restless, trying to ignore the hum of the life support system. Then I heard it, the soft hiss of my door sliding open. I sat up quickly. No one was supposed to enter without clearance. And yet there she was. A figure stepped into the dim glow of my room. Slender, small, her silver-blue skin shimmering faintly under the overhead light. Her eyes were larger than any human's, glowing faintly violet, and her hair floated like strands of pale light, unaffected by gravity. It was the alien girl. We had picked her up months ago from a derelict vessel drifting beyond Europa's orbit. No record of her species existed in the Union's databases. The scientists called her Subject A-17. I had simply called her the girl. She hadn't spoken much since her rescue. Most of the crew avoided her. Some feared her. Others saw her as a specimen rather than a person. I had been the only one who tried to talk to her. Tonight, though, she wasn't in her assigned containment quarters. She was in mine. Her voice was soft, fragile, carrying an accent that bent around human words strangely. "Can I sleep next to you tonight, human?" Middle. My heart pounded. I wasn't sure whether to call security or to ask why she was here. But something in her voice, gentle, almost trembling, made me lower my guard. "You're not supposed to be here," I whispered, glancing at the door as if someone else might notice. "If the commander finds out." Her eyes widened, and for a moment, I saw fear ripple across her face. Fear not of me but of being caught. I don't like the silence," she said. "Your kind sleep together. I saw in your memories." That last word sent a chill down my spine. I had forgotten she had some kind of empathic ability. During her first days on the station, she had touched my hand, and somehow glimpsed fragments of my childhood. Running through fields, my mother's voice calling me home. I didn't know how deep her gift went, but it was clear she could feel more than she let on. "You looked at my memories?" "Yes." She nodded faintly, stepping closer. "Not to harm. Just to understand. In your people's past, children were not left alone in the dark. They had others. I have no others." Her words were heavy with loneliness, and suddenly the sterile metal walls of the station seemed colder than usual. I sighed, running a hand through my hair. "All right. Just for tonight. But if anyone finds out..." Before I could finish, she slipped onto the edge of my bed, curling up lightly, her glowing eyes still fixed on me. It was strange. Alien yet oddly human. "Your people fear me," she said after a while, her voice barely above a whisper. "They don't understand you," I replied. "Do you?" That question hit harder than I expected. Did I understand her? She was the last of her kind, perhaps, stranded among strangers who only saw her as data. And here I was, the only one willing to share space with her. Maybe I didn't understand, but I wanted to. Her breathing slowed, almost mimicking mine. But before sleep could settle, the intercom buzzed overhead. "Attention, crew. Unauthorized power surge detected in containment sector." Froze. Containment sector. That was where she was supposed to be. If security realized she was gone, they'd search the station. The girl sat up, fear flashing in her glowing eyes. They will send me away. I don't want to go back in the cold room. I hesitated, then stood quickly. All right, stay here. Lock the door after me. Don't make a sound. But she grabbed my hand, her skin cooler than mine, almost electric. If they find me, they will hurt you too. I should not have come. For a moment, I almost told her to return. Almost. But something in her touch, something that pulsed not just through my hand but into my chest, stopped me. I'll take care of it, I said firmly. I left her there, heading into the dim corridors of the station. The hum of the life support system was louder now, mixed with the echo of distant boots as security teams swept the halls. I slipped past them, heading to the containment chamber. When I arrived, I saw why the alarms had triggered. The energy field around her cell had collapsed. But not from sabotage. It had simply failed, overloaded from her presence. As I examined the controls, I heard a voice behind me. The commander. What are you doing here, officer? I stiffened. Checking the surge, sir. The system overloaded. His eyes narrowed. And the specimen. Still inside, I think. I lied, praying my face didn't give me away. The commander tapped his wrist console, checking logs. His frown deepened. The biometric scan doesn't detect her. My pulse quickened. If they searched the station, they'd find her in my quarters. I needed to divert them. Could the sensors be malfunctioning too? I suggested. We've had glitches before. He studied me for a long moment, then barked an order into his comm, search the station. She can't have gone far. I forced myself to remain calm as teams fanned out. But inside panic churned. I hurried back toward my room, hoping she had stayed hidden. When I entered, the lights were dim. For a moment I thought she was gone. But then, from the shadows, her violet eyes opened. They're searching, I whispered. You can't stay here. She shook her head. I don't want to go back to the cold. I feel safe here. If that word hit me harder than any order or protocol. I knew then that no matter what happened, I couldn't hand her back to them. Escalation. The searches grew more intense over the next few days. Security patrolled constantly, and the commander became more suspicious of me. Somehow, though, the girl remained hidden. She moved silently, slipping between shadows whenever I wasn't in the room. At night, she returned, curling beside me, whispering questions about human life, about laughter, about families, about love. One night, as Jupiter's storms raged below us, she asked, "Why do your people fear being alone?" I thought for a long moment. Because we're not built for it. We're social creatures. We survive better together. Her gaze lingered on me. Then why leave me alone? Question stung. She was right. Our crew had treated her as an outsider, a specimen. And I had gone along with it, until she stepped into my room that night. But the closer we grew, the more dangerous it became. One evening, the commander cornered me in the mess hall. "You've been distracted lately," he said, his voice low. "If you know something about the specimen's disappearance, you'd better speak. For your own sake." I forced myself to remain calm. "Sir, I've reported everything I've seen." His eyes bored into mine, but he said nothing more. Yet I knew then he suspected me. That night the girl whispered, "They will not stop. If they find me, they will cut me open." I clenched my fists. "Then we won't let them."